everyone, I'm Danielle McGeary, Amy's Vice President of Healthcare Technology Management, and I'm here with Chace Torres, the Bearded Biomed. And today we're here to talk about your new product line, Ohms Law Apparel. Congratulations, Chace, on your new launch.
Thank you. I'm not busy enough as it is.
I was gonna say, how do you do it all in a day?
Lots of caffeine.
Um, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Ohms Law Apparel, what it is, and how this idea came to fruition?
So Ohms Law Apparel is kind of my answer to remedy some issues that we constantly discuss in the field over and over again. Um, it was, if you think about it, one of the main things we talk about is showcasing the field, awareness, getting people interested to explore the field, possibly enter the field through obviously going to college for it, et cetera. And, the other aspect of that too is I tend to like to approach issues from out of the box. And when I think about it, when I think of the biomed field, I consider representation. And from a day-to-day perspective, we are always wearing our company branding. We are, wearing our company logos, whether you're working for an OEM, your in-house healthcare system, your ISO third party, or just any of the other, faculties within the HTM ecosystem.
That's so
But when
true.
I thought about it is we don't have a brand that represents biomed, something that I look to. Professional athletes have their Nike, Adidas, New Balance. When you think construction worker, a lot of them are wearing Redfin, Carhartt. Nursing, they have their own separate brands for their scrubs as well. And I thought, well, that is an area that I could possibly answer while providing representation to. So easily enough, it's a brand that every biomed should understand some modicum of electrical theory, hopefully. So the significance behind Ohm's law on our day-to-day is apparent. It's also an opportunity for us to outreach for other technically inclined professions that also understand Ohm's law, because it's not just attuned to biomed. You have your mechanical, electrical engineering. You have folks that work in the meta space and IT, and it's an opportunity to extend a hand and also kind of create a symbol for pretty much any technically inclined profession. So that took care of the representation part. Now to address the issues of getting people interested in the field and making them aware. So my thing is, the idea behind the clothing was to present a three-pronged approach to answering that. And this goes to the people that are least aware so far is, what am I planning on doing with you just purchasing something? So you purchase a shirt, a hat, a hoodie, whatever, and every single purchase goes towards funding the three endeavors.
And that's so nice that like every dollar goes back to the community. And I know you're wearing the hat that has it, but in case people haven't seen it, I have a shirt here that you graciously sent me. And it has a really cool logo. You can see right here it says Ohm is where the heart is. It's really fun. And I think you did a really good job creating a really quality product. But also let's go back to how every dollar goes back into the community. I really love the philanthropic side of this. So can you explain a little more about how it gives back and what it does for the HTM professionals of the future?
Sure. So the first step, I think, is pretty much the easiest way that we can immediately create value is building a scholarship fund. So there are obviously certain scholarships available out there with certain colleges. Of course, a lot of folks can use FAFSA, as we did back in the day. And obviously, if you're a veteran, you got the GI Bill. But what about the folks that don't have those, financial availability to be able to go after a biomed degree program or to pursue a degree to get into the field? So I wanted to create something which I've already reached out to several colleges that I've done speaking events for, that I have relationships with already. and we're in the process of developing what needs to be done to actually set up a scholarship fund for them. Because of course, while I have launched the brand, we do need to actually build the chest in order to give out the scholarships. I'm hoping that the first scholarship can be given out next year to obviously somebody that's interested into the field. The other half of that is I also want the scholarship to go towards benefiting those already in the field. So as many are aware, I am a champion when it comes to going after your certifications. So
we appreciate
while
that.
it is while it is not as common, I still do hear from time to time that there are certain entities or systems that will not reimburse folks for going and getting the certification. And that shouldn't dissuade somebody from wanting to, add to their repertoire or tool belt to make them more marketable as a biomed. So I want that scholarship to also be a resource for folks that they get their CBET, their CHTM, their CRES, and they don't have anybody to basically reward them for the hard work they put in. And I hope to fill that gap with this as well.
That's really, really nice. And Amy has a scholarship program as well through the Amy Foundation, and we give out about 10 to 15 scholarships a year to students who are studying an HTM related degree. And through the Amy Foundation, they also fund those students who win the scholarships. They fund their travel and exchange registration so they can come out and receive the scholarship in person. So I'm glad that you're really adding to the available scholarships that are out there so we can get more and more people educated and just help more and more and spread awareness about the field as well.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter if there's scholarships already available. It's not going to hurt the field. If not, it'll make it better to add to the available resources out there for people. Honestly, I feel if every company out there had a scholarship program available to biomed, we probably would be able to source technicians a lot easier.
Agreed.
But I can't speak or force other folks to want to do that, other entities to do that. So I can at least put my foot forward and try to attempt to do that. The second part of, I guess, what you would consider the mission of Ohms Law Apparel is to also create an opportunity to allow the younger generation, the technicians that aren't embedded into their systems, to get funding and sponsorship to go to conferences. I believe that we need to really dive in deep when it comes to mentoring, supporting, enriching the younger generation of biomeds coming up. I'm no longer of that, that class anymore. I'm mid-career. So, it's about giving back. So if you think about all the tech ones, maybe tech twos, the ones that they've never been to a conference, they've never got to experiencing the network opportunities, the opportunities of education, and possibly finding new job opportunities. This can be a source for giving them a little financial support to get out there to go attend those conferences, because networking can truly enrich and make your career even greater than what it currently is. So we want to make those opportunities available.
Well, that's just so endearing. I just love anything that gives back to the community. And obviously that's Amy's mission as well, to really build a strong pipeline for the future. And, we just want to thank you for all your hard work. Because I don't know if people really think about it, but you go to work full time every day, you come home, you do your podcast, you grind, and now you have an apparel brand that's entirely philanthropic to really give back to that next generation. And I think it's really amazing what you do for the community and how you step up, right? It's not just about identifying problems, but it's finding solutions. Every day as HTM professionals, we adapt and overcome. And this is the perfect example of how you execute that. So Chace, let's just, to kind of wrap this up, if people want to support this initiative and buy, whether it's a hat, a shirt, a sweatshirt, how can they do that? And how can they get involved and support this initiative?
So the beautiful thing about the internet is I can do all of this from the comfort of a website. The website is simply www.ohmslawapparel.com. If you go on there, besides the store, I also have a little bit of an about section where I also feature a lot of folks that have already contributed to the mission as I like to say, join the movement. And anybody that's also willing to share their purchasing contribution, I'd be more than happy to add you to the website as well, because it also showcases a community, this is what this is about. But if you also look on there, if you go under the mission statement aspect, it breaks down everything we've gone through today, but there's also a donation section there. So there's twofold way that you can support this. You can purchase directly off of the website. It's pretty straightforward. I will say that our ship to times are pretty good. I've been actually very pleased with it. There should never really be an out of stock situation. So, everything's available. I have a lot of different stuff on there.
You
So
do.
if you make a purchase, a portion of that sale is going to go towards it, because I'm not making a lot of money off the sale. I priced them to where you feel comfortable supporting, but it's also not asking you for an arm and a leg. The other part of that is, if you go to the mission statement section of the website, scroll down, there's a donation section. And any money you put towards that, 100% of that donation will go towards those initiatives. And you will also get a receipt, so you can get you a tax write-off as well. Like I said, the goal is to start implementing these scholarships. Even if I have to put some of the extra money from Bearded Biomed towards that too, I will, because I don't want to just let this sit and linger. We want to start making impact immediately. So anyway, any way you can, if maybe you've already made a purchase, just let people know it's out there. That's all I ask.
And I'm so excited to be part of the movement too. So, I love my shirt. And, as someone who has been on the website, I can tell you, no matter what your style is, color, style, type of apparel you want, there's definitely something for you out there. So please support Chace. Please support Ohms Law Apparel in this movement. And, Chace, again, we're just so appreciative for everything that you do for the community. We're appreciative of your support of Amy. We just love having you as part of the show. But with that, we have a really exciting announcement between Amy and the Bearded Biomed, right?
Yes. As we alluded at the very beginning, I've never stopped working, and we always have something else coming down the pipeline.
And we'll be announcing that during HTM week, which is coming up the third week of May. So watch for another video of Chace and me that's going to drop, and we're going to have a really great announcement about a collaboration between our two organizations. So thank you all for joining us today, and please support Chace and go support the Ohms Law movement.